It's time to review a meal from Maggiano's Italian Classics, which is just Chili's, but it's on Doordash and it's Italian. All right, let's start with this spaghetti with meat sauce. You can choose between marinara or meat sauce. I chose the meat sauce. It looks like spaghetti. All right, let's give it a go. I'm using their fork that they gave me because I have like 100,000 plastic forks that I never use, so this time I'm going to use it. I don't know, I don't want to throw them away. It feels wasteful. I should just start using them every day. All right, here's a bite. Let's give it a shot. All right, overall, I'd say the spaghetti is what I call mediocre, which is kind of what you expect, I think, when you order spaghetti from any restaurant that's not like a fancy Italian restaurant. It's always mediocre. It's always a disappointment in some way, but actually, of all the delivery spaghettis I've gotten, which is, to be fair, not a lot, a couple, from like local pizza places, this one's not bad. It's just kind of meh. The sauce is actually pretty decent. It's just a little bit plain. The meat in the sauce, though, I want to highlight. It doesn't really look like anything special. I'm trying to get a piece of meat on there, but of course this camera, you know, whatever. The meat doesn't really look like anything special, but it's actually seasoned pretty well, and more importantly, there's some kind of like, I don't know how they cooked it, but there's some kind of char on it. It's almost like it was on a flame, like it was flame grilled or something. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's the best I can do. It's got like a kind of charred flavor to it, which I wouldn't necessarily associate with spaghetti, but it's actually pretty good. I wouldn't complain. This is for $10. I'm not complaining. I think that this is actually decent spaghetti for $10. Also, there's dogs barking in the background. I'm sure you could hear that. Let's move on to the chicken Parmesan, which honestly looks more like chicken provolone. That's not Parmesan cheese, but let's try it out. It looks like you got ziti noodles, and this is probably the marinara sauce that I could have gotten on the spaghetti because it's not a meat sauce, as far as I can tell. Back to the plastic fork. Good. I see. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Actually, I don't know why I started recording this because I think I need a knife, and I don't know if the plastic knife is gonna cut it. Let's see. Let's watch me struggle with this knife for a little bit and before I cut this off and edit it out because it's ridiculous. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. It's actually cutting through pretty good, actually. There's a little piece of chicken. Well, it's actually a pretty big piece of chicken. But I'm going to try it actually by itself, and I'll let you know what the chicken's like. That chicken is actually pretty damn good and cooked well and pretty fresh. I've got no complaints about this piece of chicken, and it's fucking huge, but honestly, the problem is the provolone is kind of bad, and I'm a provolone guy, but whatever provolone they use, it's smoked provolone, which I don't prefer. I like the non-smoked, but the artificial smoked flavor on this provolone just kind of ruins it. So honestly, I kind of wish that they hadn't put the cheese on it and just left the chicken as is, or maybe, you know, put some Parmesan on it. Let's try some noodles, some ziti noodles with marinara. Honestly, not bad again, but it's actually slightly worse than the meat sauce, just because it lacks that meat flavor. It's very similar, but in that way, it's pretty plain as a marinara sauce. I think that the best way, which I don't think you can do, is if you could actually combine these dishes, that would be the best way to go. If it was more like a traditional chicken Parmesan and it was on spaghetti noodles with, you know, not provolone cheese, and you could somehow get the meat sauce instead of the marinara sauce, that would be really a pretty good meal. But as they are separately, I don't even know which I prefer, because the chicken is actually really good, but the rest of it is, you know, mediocre, and the spaghetti is a slightly better mediocre overall. So you get a little more high highs on the chicken Parmesan, but I think the spaghetti or bolognese, whatever you want to call it, with the bolognese sauce, meat sauce, is actually probably the better dish. But that chicken is actually really good. I'm definitely going to eat it. So let's move on to a quick look at the salads, which they're salads, so I'm not going to spend too much time on. Okay, here are the salads. This is the Caesar, and this is the Italian. I actually got them backwards. I assumed this was the Italian because I didn't, or I mean, this was the Caesar because I didn't see these pepperoncinis and olives because they were covered up. And I assumed based on this shaved Parmesan that this was the Caesar. No, this is the Italian. This is the Caesar, and I only know that because this is Caesar dressing and that's Italian dressing. You know, I guess there's like Parmesan. You can kind of see they sprinkled a little Parmesan on top, I think. I don't know. Let's just give each one a quick shot. I just got a Doordash notification that said, "How did I like my order?" So maybe I'll send them a link to this video. Hopefully they watch it over there at headquarters. Okay, so the Italian salad definitely seems more fully featured. It's got black olives, pepperoncinis, tomatoes, onions, and croutons. It's definitely got more of what you probably want. But I think the ultimate test here is going to be how does the croutons taste, or how do the croutons taste, and two, is this Italian dressing worth anything? And I'm just gonna, normally I would be a salad pourer, but I'm gonna dip for this instance because I probably will want to eat this salad later, so I don't want to douse it yet. For an included salad in a $10 meal, this is actually pretty good. This is a sizable salad. I don't know if it really comes across. I mean, I don't really know how to measure it. Here's a Diet Coke bottle. But anyways, this is a very sizable salad for I guess a starter for your Italian meal. And it's actually decent quality. You know, lettuce is whatever, but it's actually got a pretty good amount of tomatoes and onions and olives if you like olives. I'm not really a big olive guy. I like cooked olives. I don't really like raw olives. I ate one anyway just to try it. It was very salty. Probably, I don't know if that's bad or good because like I said, I don't really like the taste of raw olives, but it's all there. It's a decent Italian salad. The dressing is actually really pretty good. So I'm going to save the rest of this one for later, and now I'm going to try the Caesar, which I'll also probably save the rest for later because I want to highlight, again, this is a huge meal. I shouldn't have bought two of these. I assumed when it said lunch portions and the fact that it was $10 and came with the salad and a breadstick that it would be kind of small. These are fucking huge. This is a meal, even for me, an extremely fat person who loves food. I could not eat, I don't even know if I could eat one of these full meals with the salad just in one sitting. I would probably save some. This is heavy. I don't even know. It's probably over a pound. It's gotta be. It's probably, I don't know. I'm not a good weigher. I don't have a kitchen scale. But this shit is heavy and there's a lot of it. So portions are not a problem if you're getting the lunch menu. There's a whole dinner menu, which I'm not going to review, which has other things on it. But they're supposed to be bigger portions, I guess, because these are lunch portions and the dinner portions are more expensive. They're like $15. I can't imagine how much fucking shit you get with that because these are fucking huge. Just want to mention that again. So you're definitely getting your value of fairly mediocre Italian food, but for the delivery through Doordash for $10 with the salad, it's pretty good. I guess we'll get more to that at the end of this review. Let's move on to this Caesar salad. All right, here we go. This is more of a review of the Caesar dressing because, I mean, there is some romaine lettuce in there, but otherwise, I think the croutons are identical to the other ones. So this is kind of like how good is their Caesar dressing review. I'll say this about the Caesar dressing. It is like everything else, kind of mediocre. Like if I went to my fridge and pulled out a bottle of Wishbone Caesar dressing or Kraft Caesar dressing and poured it on, not sure I'd notice the difference between the two. Now, whether that's a bad thing or a good thing, it's kind of like up to your discretion. I think it's probably a good thing in that it's at least, you know, of decent quality. It's not bad. It's at least of the quality of a store-bought bottle of dressing, but it's not anywhere above that. It's just kind of, it is what it is. I mean, they could be at the restaurant pouring in fucking Kraft Caesar dressing for all I know. So not bad, but as I said, as an included salad, it's pretty good. But if you are going to buy this, if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to order this, get the Italian. The Caesar is like kind of half-assed because it's just romaine lettuce and some croutons and some Caesar dressing. Whereas the Italian, you get all the accoutrement. So definitely order the Italian salad. Now let's try the one breadstick they gave me. They were supposed to give me two. And I gotta say, this is a very sad looking breadstick. And it's pretty much extremely cold because it's been sitting here for about 20 minutes. I'll try not to hold that against them as I taste this. Okay, so let's just see how it tastes as a breadstick, and we'll probably compare it to the king of all breadsticks, which is Olive Garden. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to give this breadstick an above average score. It's actually pretty good, considering it's, like I said, it's really cold. Super buttery and actually extremely garlicky. It doesn't look like it. I don't know how they managed to get this, but the garlic on here is extremely strong. Much stronger than it is on a Olive Garden breadstick. I think if this was hot, it might actually be comparable, maybe. It's maybe a little not baked enough. I would actually prefer it to be maybe spend another minute in the oven, but the flavor is actually pretty spot on. I appreciate this breadstick, and as I said, it was supposed to be one breadstick per meal. They kind of screwed up on that front, but in general, you're supposed to get your meal with the salad and one breadstick. Last but hopefully not least is this chocolate pie, which is kind of like those, you know, those cheap pies you buy at the store with chocolate like pudding in the center. It came falling apart. So this is not like me destroying it. It kind of came out of it was in a little bag in here and it was already falling apart. But you know, hopefully the taste is good. And it's cold. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be hot or cold, but I assume it's supposed to be cold because it doesn't feel like they heated it up and then it got cold. I think it was always cold. So let's give it a shot. All right, I'm gonna give it a shot from the center. Give it the best possible chance. The pie is actually really good. I'm impressed. It was $3, maybe a little too much for what it is. It's decent size, but it does kind of taste like those childhood pies, just a little elevated though. It's very buttery. The crust of this pie is extremely buttery in a great way. It kind of tastes like I'm eating a butter cookie from a tin, which never has butter cookies. You know, the one that you put your sewing supplies in. One of those. It's like I'm eating a butter cookie from those. And the chocolate, it's pretty good. It's just chocolate. There's nothing like spectacular. I'm not mouth watering over here, but well, maybe I am. But it's a good pie. It's a good solid dessert, and for $3, maybe it's a little overpriced, but not too bad considering it was delivered. So I'll give the pie a thumbs up. And that's going to lead us to our conclusions. Now, I've been thinking about this as I've been eating all this, and I want to say that I like it. Even though most of the food is fairly, it's like a lot of 3 out of 5. If I was on a 5-star scale, I'd be like, oh, this is a 3 out of 5, or this is, you know, a 6 or 7 out of 10, which is why I don't use the 10-point scale, because 7 means average, which is stupid. Anyway, so let's go back to the 5-star scale. I would give almost everything here a 3 out of 5. Maybe the breadstick would get a 4 out of 5, I think, because it's actually a pretty solid breadstick. But everything else, it's fairly mediocre Italian food, but for a Doordash delivery only thing, it's pretty decent. I gotta be honest, it's pretty decent, and more importantly, the prices are fairly decent. I'm very surprised by the portions I got for $10. $10 for an entree and a salad and a breadstick is actually very good for Doordash prices. Of course, you got a tip and stuff like that. So ideally, you would get one meal for $10, and then, you know, the way Doordash is, you gotta have $12 to get the Dash Pass stuff. So if you added a pie onto that, $13, and then, you know, you tip $4 or $5, it's not bad. It's pretty good if you're craving Italian. If you just like, oh man, I want spaghetti, which is why I made this review, because I was just thinking, man, I really want spaghetti. It's decent for what it is. I don't think you could get anything cheaper. Maybe it depends on your local restaurants, but around here, even like local pizza places and like Italian places, you're looking at $12, $13 for their spaghetti, and it's not going to come with a salad. As far as most of the places around here, I can't say internationally, or not internationally, but nationally. I don't know what you got around you, but if you don't have a good place around you that has cheap, fairly cheap Italian food, this is not a bad substitute. It's just kind of in the middle. It's like, I don't know, it's like Domino's pizza. It's like, yeah, of course I could get a good pizza from another place and pay more money, but sometimes I'm fine with a Domino's pizza for $5.99. It's kind of like that. It's okay for what it is. I'm slightly impressed by the portions, though. I got to admit, this is a 2 meals probably for most people, and like 1.5 meals for me because I'm fat. This is like a meal, and then like around like 1 a.m. I'll come out and finish it. You know what I'm saying? So decent, food for the price. That's Maggiano's Italian Classics. It's operated out of Chili's. They also did It's Just Wings, which was I don't even remember. I think I did a review on that, and I don't remember if it was good or not. This, semi-decent. I would actually probably order this again. If like a couple months from now I'm thinking, hey, I want spaghetti, I would probably order this again because it hits that sweet spot for delivery between price and quality. Could I get higher quality stuff? Yes, but it wouldn't be as cheap. This is kind of in a good spot for the price to value. You know, the value to taste ratio is there. So this is going to be on my short list. If I want spaghetti, I'll probably order this again, or any other Italian food. Maybe I'll try the dinners, because there is some extra dinners that aren't here. The lunch menu is a little more limited, but like I said, the portions are huge for lunch, so you're not losing anything ordering the lunch portions. I can't even imagine what the dinner portions look like. Also, last but not least, since this place was built for delivery, actually, I'm incredibly pleased by this. The ability to stack. All of the things stack, which is excellent. So you can stack them up and put them in the fridge, and it also helps for delivery, obviously, because they can stack them up and put them in the bag. So they thought it out, and the containers have the little holes in them so that the steam gets out and everything. So they thought it through, except for the breadstick, which just being wrapped in foil got pretty cold pretty fast, but decent, I'm gonna say. If I was gonna review this place overall, I'd give it a 3 out of 5, and I'd say it's fine. If you're feeling like Italian food, mediocre Italian food, and you don't mind paying a little less than you would at an Italian restaurant, then go ahead. If you're gonna go out and eat, then obviously you're not getting this because it's delivery only. So this is for me and all the rest of us who don't want to leave the house. It's not bad. See you next time.